So, I think we can all agree a year into this that WWE failed to capitalize on any momentum that Becky Lynch had made for herself going into WrestleMania 35. She went from being the most over and popular person in the whole company to just being another person on the roster in the span of a year. Like, we've seen this happen time and time again with WWE. When someone gets over on their own and they don't want them to, they basically just get punished for it. While she wasn't technically punished, she wasn't capitalized on. They didn't do anything with it. They didn't do as much as they could have and should have done. When the company wants to push someone and they get it behind themselves that they want to make that person the person in the company, they do it. We've seen it with Roman and him main eventing 12 WrestleManias in a row and Charlotte winning 37 championships. When they want to make someone the person in the company, they'll do it. And they didn't with Becky. She basically got the Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30 treatment, where they couldn't afford to ignore the fans with what they wanted, but they pretty much gave us what we wanted and then just dropped it. Like, yeah, Becky wins, here you go, be happy, don't ask us anything else. From WrestleMania 35 to 36, Becky Lynch only main evented 3 pay-per-views. 3. She had all this momentum, winning both titles at WrestleMania, Becky 2 belts, all this giant wave. It's fun to say Becky 2 belts, it was great, and then the very next pay-per-view, it's just dropped, and she loses the belt to Charlotte. Of course, it's Charlotte. Now, granted, it was after back-to-back matches, and it was outside interference from Lacey Evans, but still, why even go through the trouble of putting all this into it and creating this moniker and trying to even act like you're going to do something with it if you're just going to drop it and basically just say screw it and not even try and do anything with it. So the first show she main evented after winning at WrestleMania, being Becky 2 belts, and then back to just Becky 1 belt and Becky Lynch, Extreme Rules in a mixed tag match with Seth Rollins and against Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans in that winner take all match. Technically, that wasn't even the main event of the show because it was supposed to be the last match on the card until Brock Lesnar cashed in Money in the Bank, which is still weird to think about. He cashed in on Seth Rollins, so that was technically the last match on the card, but we'll still count it as main eventing, in quotes. After that, it was all the way until Survivor Series, when she had that triple threat with Shayna Baszler and Bayley. And in all honesty, that one was good. The build was great for it, even though Bayley was basically a non-factor, but that's another topic for another day with how they've just done nothing with Bayley since she got called up. But you kind of thought they were doing the right thing with her and building her up the right way, just doing this big build. Granted, it was mostly about NXT, but it was still, Becky was a big focal point of it in the build up to it. Even though the match didn't really live up to the hype, it was still good that they got that push and that prominent feature. So we're about 1 for 1 in terms of that build up and momentum behind her. And the last show that she main evented was TLC in a tag match with Charlotte, of course, against Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors. And it was just, yeah, it was fine. It was a good match other than Kairi getting injured and Charlotte damn near killing her. But it was just another instance of this, she's just not being utilized properly. In a year span, she main events 3 shows and none of them are even for her championship. 2 of them are tag matches. Technically, the mixed tag match was for the title, but it's not the same. 3 main events. Most of the time when she is defending her title, she's either opening the show or one of the earlier matches on the show. She's never put as the main person on the show, even when Brock Lesnar is a champion and you have the chance to do that, to make her the main person, give her the ball and see what she can do, see how the ratings do, and just try something different. and they don't. Like, the best match I think she had during this whole run was the match where she had against Sasha Banks at Hell in a Cell, and that was good, and still nothing came from it. They don't really do anything with it. She's just there, constantly getting the biggest reactions of the night, constantly being the man like she's claiming to be, and they're just honestly like refusing to, like, out of spite almost. So in a year, arguably the most popular person in the whole company only main events 3 shows. 3, not even, granted, one of them, Survivor Series, is a big 4 show, even though it's not at this point anymore. She doesn't main event SummerSlam. She's not main eventing Money in the Bank, anything like that. She's just there. They wouldn't even let her be on the cover of 2K20 by herself, which is probably a good thing in retrospect, but still. They had to give it to her and Roman. That's nothing against Roman. It's just, you couldn't do an alternate cover, just let her have her own thing for once. They just refused to do it. And even going into WrestleMania this year, there was talk about her and Shayna main eventing one of the nights. With the way that all the matches fell into place and how they were all structured, it makes sense why they didn't, and I get it. But even the match at WrestleMania, it didn't really live up to the hype. I don't think that's either one of their faults. And granted, I think it would have made sense for Shayna to win. I'm kind of glad she didn't. They can still kind of build up to that win if she doesn't drop the title. Even if she does, there's still potential and time for them to do right by her and make her a more featured person in the company. I doubt they will. It's been an entire year and they haven't, so I doubt they're going to now. There's plenty that they can do with her. There's plenty they could do with a lot of people on the roster. I just don't know what they're going to do, and I doubt they are really thinking about it enough to do anything with her. And it's just sad. It's a shame. She deserved better. She got her face broken and still managed to get over and do all this work and got, I won't say nothing, but definitely didn't get what she should have gotten and what she deserved from it.